Hi everyone, it's Maybe's Garden. I'm back with another exciting update. So the new roses that were planted around May 6th of 2026 are blooming. So I thought I'd come out and give you guys a look. Time after time is really special. She has over 22 buds. And she's color changing. She starts out coral with a little bit of yellow inside. And then she opens up. And then by the next day, so these are her blooms opened yesterday. She's pink. So she's no longer coral. That's time after time. And I am assuming that perhaps her buds and her blooms will become larger over time. She's been planted, she's in a container, and this has only been a month and a week or so. Okay, and then there's Living the Dream. Look at her petals. Living the Dream. So exciting to see her colors. And the sun is just starting to come out now. I want to say it's around 12:20 something or so in the daytime. And they still have a little bit of water on them. I hosed them down because it was really cool and cloudy this morning. So exciting to see all of these. That airplane was pretty loud, so I thought I'd let it go over without competing. All right, Miss Congeniality. She's so cute. I thought she was going to be like a gaudy pink color, and we took a chance with her, and she's so cute. So she does have a more like muted, almost berry color when she's in a bud form. And then this is her opening up. And this is her fully opened. So cute. I think way better than expected. Belinda's Dream is just stunning. She has a little bloom down there, kind of heavy with the water. But look at all those petals. And then Colorific, which was amazing tricolor yesterday. And just from this morning, she's already changed again. And now she's fully like this almost neon, like orange, red. She was redder this morning. And yesterday she was like a peach with slight hint of red on the outer petals. So fun to watch when she's blooming because she just color changes almost continuously. Frances Meilland did have a bloom. I think I took some short video. I might make a short. Has some buds, but is having a little bit of maybe heat damage. It could also be that I raised these 3 roses up a little bit, but that was the only one that had any kind of damage whatsoever. Stiletto is actually looking better and healthier than she did before. Hardly any of the mildew showing. I did spray her once with baking soda water, but her leaves are nice and green and glossy, and she's got more buds again. I have lost count on how many times she's bloomed already, and I just planted her in February. So many flushes already. I think 3 or 4. And Belinda's Dream. It's very similar. Just amazing. And this bud here in the center had a little bit of like insect damage. You could see that little hole right there in the end on the right. And she's still just so beautiful. My little makeshift triage area at this time. We have Raspberry Cupcake here. And she's still really green. I think some of those little nodes or nubbies might be starting to come out. But we're keeping a close eye on Raspberry Cupcake, on Bolero, who seems to be getting greener, I think. And both of these, I kind of added some soil and aerated the dirt, and they are now grabbing onto the soil, so they feel a lot more secure in the pot, like Grande Dame. Now Grande Dame, I did transplant her because I don't know if it was just a bad batch of soil, but it didn't have enough perlite. Like it just didn't, it seemed very, very thick and heavy. And Grande Dame is now showing signs of recovery and growth. I'm so excited. So I decided to put all of these in the shade, and I think that was the right move because she has at least 4 little spots where she's growing. And so I'm hoping that Bolero and Raspberry Cupcake will also improve. Although they didn't have as much like dieback. They just, and also Grande Dame I planted about a week or 10 days before Bolero and Raspberry Cupcake. And again, these are all later season additions. So they were planted May 6th and I believe May 16th. And Bolero and Raspberry Cupcake, they didn't start growing. Grande Dame didn't start growing, but Grande Dame was about a week before Bolero and Raspberry Cupcake. And they seem to have had like different issues. But this last week it was too hot. And so I thought, I'm just going to put them in the shade. I think they're getting heat stress. I don't think their root systems are strong enough to give them enough water. And sure enough, Grande Dame just started to sprout immediately. It was within a couple days. I do believe kind of fixing the soil situation was also helpful. So here are the other roses that were planted mid-May. This is Mint Julep, and she has her green yellow buds getting ready to open soon. Sunbelt Savannah. Now these have literally been in these pots for a month. 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. So they have buds, they're getting ready to open. They may be experiencing a little bit of heat stress because we did have a couple of pretty warm days, and then thankfully it's gone down to mid-70s. Arizona has a nice bud coming, but it does have quite a bit of powdery mildew at this time. Bliss Parfuma, beautiful, has buds coming, but also a little bit of heat stress. You can see on her small little buds that some of the tender leaves are singed a little bit. And then Cherish, doing really well, has buds. Little bit of insect damage and a tiny bit of powdery mildew. Gown Romantica. She looks like she's getting ready to have buds. I don't think I've found any fully formed yet, but she's looking pretty good. A little bit of powdery mildew. Normally I do not wet the roses from above, but because of the powdery mildew, I heard you can kind of hose it off, especially if it's early in the morning. So I did that a few hours ago. And like I said, some of the other ones were showing powdery mildew, and I don't know if it was the 80-degree temperatures that kind of took care of that, or if one of these random days where it was an overcast day and I decided to kind of shower them off, if that helped. But if they need it, then I will spray with the baking soda water. This is Fragrant Cloud and Fragrant Cloud. These two, I don't know which one was the stowaway, probably the smaller one, but they both came together in the same bare root package or container, and they are experiencing a little bit of stress still. I recently scraped off their wax coating, and I feel like they're doing better. Even this one has some greener leaves here that you can tell are just newer, and so I think she's going to do a bit better with her new growth. And then we have Angel Face, who is an older rose in my garden. I've had her since about February 2020 or so. Probably didn't get planted for a couple months. She started to bloom in her bare root bag, but she's always a really good bloomer. Heirloom has some buds. John F. Kennedy has some new growth, which is exciting. Love at First Sight is just doing well. She just has her leaves. First Prize is doing really well. Actually, this side of her plant has some really beautiful leaves, and she's got buds. I love the colors and the health of these leaves, just looking really good. I did give them some organic fertilizer. I believe it was May 4th or 5th. And I'm super excited because Mr. Lincoln wasn't doing anything, but looks like this one might be having some new growth. Definitely having new growth here. And here. So hoping for maybe some blooms. Also excited because I had taken a cutting a long time back, and this is probably either first prize or love at first sight. And definitely having, I counted like 10 leaves the other day and some more little shoots. When I cut the spent flowers off of Stiletto, I stuck the little stems in the soil, and this one is absolutely growing, so it took off as a cutting. So I have my plumerias, my plumeria cuttings. Anybody know how to get them to flower? Oh, my epiphyllum. My epiphyllum has 2 flowers coming. She already bloomed once earlier, I guess in the spring. Here's Eden. She looks good, recently showered. I think she's looking fresh. And then Peace. Cherry Parfait. Cherry Parfait is doing really well right now. She had some rust for a little while, but she's got some new growth. Also one that I had to scrape the wax covering off of. And Perfume Delight also had wax. Same with Peace and Eden. So she has new growth right here at the top. And those leaves are pretty fresh. Did have a viewer ask about Bliss Parfuma. This is my first Bliss Parfuma that was planted in February. And she's just, I mean, she's still green and she's full of leaves. She has these 2 little nubs there, but they haven't really done much. She looks like maybe another one there. She was in the planter. She's in a pot, and she's always been in a pot, but I was keeping her kind of in that planter. I know it's kind of unsightly. Don't mind my plastic bottle mulch. It's to deter the cats from using the planter as a potty. The soil bags up on top provide leverage so that I can fill the pots underneath. I'm trying to save my back. Oh, I also got a wand for the hose for my birthday, which was this last week. So I'm excited to be using that. It is helping a lot with the back pain, the sciatica. All right, so she was there in that corner next to Frances Meilland, but I started noticing that she was shaded for most of the morning, and then she was not doing as well as all of these. They started to bloom, and she had bloomed once very early on. She was planted in February, and that's it. So she's one of my favorites, and I'm trying to get her to grow again. So I brought her out of the planter because here she gets a lot more sun. So we'll see how she does. And then Heavenly Scented, she also just kind of bloomed once, and maybe she's working on her root system now, I'm not sure. Colorific. Did she change color from the few minutes that I've been outside? I think there's a little spider. That is the update for now. Thank you for watching. Take care.